you're not child channel.
Oh my gosh, no. Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy, Young Chest Pains again here, joined with Wannabe Reviewer.
So he told me not to say anything too inappropriate, but I need to remind you, this is not a child-friendly channel. So anyone that's of the age of 13 needs to like go somewhere. All right.
I mean, but I'm still family friendly, so that includes, I'm an all ages channel, not just for children. So
No,
when,
children need to go away.
oh my
Children are
gosh.
no longer allowed on this channel.
Okay, well, you heard it first. If you're a child, like, click away. You're no longer allowed, according
Charific
to YouTube.
hates children.
No, no, don't say that.
Charific said that he will drop kick a child if he sees them in real life.
I mean, that is pretty true though. I would do something like that, but not because you're a child, just because you're a human. But anyway, we're going to dive into part two of this Pokemon movie analysis. So where we left off, the big bad was defeated. They rescued Celebi, and Celebi
Celebi
was
died.
no, we're not there yet. Celebi is unconscious. They don't
Was
know.
it?
Yeah. Celebi was unconscious, but then they realize that something's wrong with Celebi. They try to put
It's
Celebi.
dead.
They try to put Celebi in the lake of life, but it doesn't work. Then the old woman begins to realize that because the lake is polluted and the forest is destroyed due to the rampaging and because the mass marauder, because of that, the lake is also dying, and so is Celebi. However, they realize that Suicune, even though it's a Pokemon that's based around the northern winds, for some reason it can purify water. And so they use Suicune to purify the water, and they dip Celebi in. Still doesn't work though. So Celebi is too far
Ash
gone.
tries to Ash tries to stuff berries in its face.
Yeah, basically, like if someone is unconscious, you don't try to feed them. Like that's not what happens. So
He's just like stuffing berries in its face. They're just like fall
yeah,
onto the ground.
yeah, and then they all get sad. The Pokemon are crying out, the people are crying, and then out of nowhere, we hear various sounds in the background, and the old woman, I forgot her name, I'm going to call her Diana, that might be right. The old woman,
No, it's something with the T, but I
um,
guess we're close enough.
yeah,
Tanya, Tanya.
Tanya, yeah, let's call her Tanya. She recognizes it as the voice of the forest. And we see that in the sky, a portal appears, and hundreds of different Celebi from across time appear and use their power to revive the the current Celebi, which is technically from the past. So the past current Celebi. With the past current Celebi revived, the various Celebi leave, but as they're leaving, they restore the lake and the forest to their former glory. Everyone is happy, but then out of nowhere, like freaking Jason, the mass marauder pops out of the water,
That was
and
actually pretty good. I actually like that. I like how
yeah,
everyone's
that
like
was
happy
pretty
and
nice.
celebrating, and then he just like pops out like, no, it's
Yeah,
not over yet.
yeah, basically.
That was
Yeah,
actually
he
pretty
pops
good.
up, kidnaps Celebi, brings out a freaking jetpack out of nowhere that apparently can still work even though it's been submerged underwater. Question mark?
Why not? Why
Like
not?
that? No. But anyway, Ash, because he's the hero, climbs onto him. And then the Master Marauder, as he's flying, is just kicking Ash, like trying to knock him off of him, which is pretty. I thought that was pretty funny.
It was
Pikachu,
pretty funny.
yeah, Pikachu uses the Thunderbolt, destroys the jetpack, and then they all start to fall back towards the forest. Ash is saved by Celebi, but unfortunately, the Master Marauder plummets but doesn't die. He falls down a hill.
He just hits like trees
Yeah,
on the way down.
yeah, he just hits trees on the way down and then like rolls down a hill. But as he's coming, what's what I'm looking for? Coming to, everyone gathers around him. The captain,
Coming.
oh my freaking gosh, the captain gathers around him. He's like cracking his knuckles as the old woman talks and is like, "So you've mistreated the Pokemon of the forest. They don't appreciate that." And then
They're like, now we're gonna mistreat your butts.
I mean, you know what? They did tie him up, so who knows what
I'm
happened to
just
him at
saying,
that
man.
point. We didn't see him
I'm just
again,
saying.
so
Anything could have happened, man.
I mean,
I'm
I
just saying.
guess yeah, I guess we're gonna find out how deep those antlers can delve into an anus. So, but with that taken care of, It's time for Celebi to time travel once more. Suicune, his job is
Why
done.
now? Why not before?
Yeah,
Why now?
just because now the time is right.
Because there's
Celebi.
only 5 minutes left of the movie. That's
But
why.
Suicune runs off and goes back to doing whatever he was doing for the first half of the movie. So standing on a mountain, I guess. And then Ash and Sam,
Looking stoic.
yeah, Ash and Sam say their goodbyes, and then Celebi returns Sam back to his current time. And then later in the day, we see the group talking to the professor, telling him about everything that they saw. And, Ash is sad. Professor Oak is like, Why? Why are you sad, Ash? And then he's like, Oh, I met this trainer.
Are you sad that I'm poking your mom, Ash?
Oh my freaking gosh. That's not canon. It's never been canon. That's not what's happening.
Everybody knows
Oh
it.
my gosh. Anyway, I mean they do take a lot of vacations together. Like Ash's mom and Professor Oak, they're always seen together a lot. So who knows?
Although
Maybe.
not as much as Professor. I mean, not as much as Ash's mom and Mr. Mime, though. But you know.
I mean, I do ship those two. Like, do you see them hands? Like they're perfect for just smacking. Never mind. So where was I? Oh yes, that's
Uh,
right. No, no, no. You stop talking. um, so Ash, says that he met a trainer and he had to go back to his previous time and he wonders if they're still friends. Professor Oak says, "You know what? Don't worry about it. Friendship can last the test of time, and you and Sam will be friends forever." Then they have to leave to go back on the boat, and then Misty is like, "Wait, how did Professor Oak know about Sam's name? We didn't tell him that." They start to wonder, but then of course they can't think about it for too long. They go run back to their
because
boat.
they have the attention span of a housefly, so they're like,
Yeah.
oh well.
Yeah, whatever. And then Brock just nonchalantly says, "Oh wow, Professor Oak is so amazing. He knows everything." Like, no, that's not a proper explanation for him knowing about someone's name that you never mentioned. Like, no, that's not how that works. But then they go on the boat. Then we see Professor Oak. He's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he's just thinking back, looking at his drawing and the faded picture that he drew of Celebi and Pikachu, and he's like, "Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday." And then the movie ends with Team Rocket. They find Jesse, and then they try to get Jesse on their like little makeshift raft, and then Tyranitar comes out of nowhere and just breaks it, and then they just they float in the lake, and then the movie fades
But they seem
to
happy at
black.
least.
Yeah, yeah, they're happy. They're very tranquil. And so with that, that is the end of part two. Well, no, not of part two. That's the end of the
The
movie.
film, the
Yes, the
second
film.
part of this review, yeah.
Yes. So, Mr. Wannabe Reviewer, Mr. Inappropriate himself, what do you think of the movie?
I like the part where Jesse was tied up upside down with the tentacles.
Why are
That
you
was a good
here?
part. That was a good part.
Why are you here?
But no, seriously though, seriously, I thought the movie was fine.
Yeah.
If we're gonna start ranking these movies, which I think we can kind of start doing that,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the first movie's still number one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably the third movie's number two. I would
Yes.
rank this one number three,
Yes.
and then the second movie number four.
No, no, it's
So
not
this one's
even in the
better,
ranking. Like the second movie is just trash. Like that's where it belongs. It's not even in the ranking.
right? But no, but
So
seriously though, I would rank this one like in third place so far. It's not better than the first one or the third one,
yeah.
but I still that doesn't mean I didn't like it though. I still
Hmm.
liked it. I still thought the concept was simple enough. Where okay, in the
Yeah.
games you know that Celebi is a time traveling Pokemon. How do
Yes.
we tie that into Ash and friends?
Hmm.
Hey, let's have Ash have an encounter with a Professor Oak from the past,
Yeah.
and they form a friendship, and that's how you meet Celebi, and that's how you get Suicune, and there's this hunter guy that's after them, and it
Hmm.
was I liked it. It's a good enough story.
Yeah.
There are issues with it. Like if I can go over my issues just real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've kind of mentioned it before, but just to kind of recap, I do think it's kind of dumb how Celebi's powers work,
Yeah.
where it's like, as soon as they healed it, why didn't they head back home? Like, I mean, at least if they had said, oh, it can only use its powers of time travel near the little shrine, I could have
Hmm.
understood. But no, it's literally just like, oh no, it didn't use its powers and it gets captured, and I thought that was dumb. Number two, I think that Suicune was kind of weird the way they used it.
Hmm.
I do like Suicune being the Guardians and stuff. I did like that. I think if it did it did a good job, but it was just weird how you see Ash see it in the distance, then it disappears for like 40 minutes,
Yeah.
and just randomly shows up again. That was kind of weird. I thought it was weird that I think them saying that Celebi died and then had to get revived and all that, it
Hmm.
felt a little too try hard. It felt like they were just purposely trying to pull up people's heartstrings or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
really, it died. Like you didn't have to go that far. I thought that
Yeah,
was a little too
because and
much.
if I can interrupt you for a bit, like how did it die? Like from what we've saw, like before Celebi died, all that happened was that it broke free of mind control and that it saved Ash and Sam from falling into the lake. That was it. Like that doesn't constitute what did Celebi use up all of his energy like while it was mind controlled and even still like why did they have to die? Like I don't know. And then the fact that like even if you want to argue that oh it was because of the dark ball and how it affected it, like we see like at the end of the movie Tyranitar is just fine, and then we also see like the Scizor and his Sneasel just walk off. Literally, they just walk off into the distance, like they're also fine. So it's
Yeah,
literally
like
just
everybody, all the other Pokemon were fine. So why was that one affected so much?
yeah. And then one thing that I want to address that goes into, I guess, like how you talked about how it's not as good as the third movie. I believe that the third movie, it was more about the action, I feel like. That was definitely more an action-packed movie, whereas this one was not, you know, like I don't think this movie was more
It
about
had
like
like
I guess the
3 fights
characters.
total.
Yeah, I
It
feel
had
like
like a short. It had the short fight at the beginning with Ash and the Dundee. It
hmm
had the fight with Ash and Sam versus some of the guys, dark Pokemon. It
yes.
had the fight at the end, between like Celebi and Suicune and all the stuff is happening,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. So I think this movie was just more sort of focused on the characters themselves, like character building, and I feel like that was pretty cool. And we do get more backstory on Professor Oak. That I mean, while granted no one asked for it, I do think that they did it in a very good way. I feel like a very natural way as well. And we talked about this off screen, but I also think that they did a good job of not spoiling that it was Professor Oak.
It
Now,
was
what
really obvious it was
I
him.
do not think it was that obvious. Like,
Unless you're 5 years old, it's super
I
obvious that it's
do
supposed to be
no, I
Professor
do
Oak.
not think that, and you want to know why? Because like the kid has a different like hairstyle than the current Professor Oak.
Ooh,
If
has
the
a
kid
different
no, if he had
hairstyle.
different hair, no, if he had the same hair, then yeah, obvious. But like his name was Sam, whereas it wasn't like I don't like. Yes, they said that his name was like Samuel Oak in like episode 1 of like the first season of the anime, but like at this point in the game, you don't remember that his name is Samuel or that like Samuel is just a longer version of Sam. Like, no, 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 no. I feel like they did a good job.
They
I don't think.
literally talk to Professor Oak. They say we saw Suicune, and he's like, "I've seen one before. When did you see a Professor Oak?" And then he gets interrupted. The team runs off, and he's like, "I wonder if I should tell Ash." It was super obvious that it was going to
Listen,
be
I
him.
I don't think so.
It was
But
very obvious.
but
There was
who
all sorts of
knows?
clues about the thing, man. Oh yeah,
Anyway.
your sketchbook looks just like a Pokedex. Who do I know that basically started the Pokedex and is called a Pokemon Professor? I wonder.
And also, no, 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 and no, no, no. I feel like that was forced because there's no way that you can compare, like, literally a machine where if you scan a Pokemon, it tells you everything about them. You can't just compare that to a sketchbook.
Exactly. That's what made it stupid. That's how you can tell it was on purpose to make it obvious.
Listen,
If they
shut up,
hadn't
man.
said that, it would have been fine. But the fact that Ash goes that far to go, it reminds me of a Pokedex. That's what makes it super obvious. Like, oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Oak.
okay, yeah. So apparently I'm just stupid and I don't pick up on obvious
Yes.
clues apparently. But
Yes.
mm, anyway, Let's see.
I'm just like, yes.
Anyway, I'm trying to think. I feel like we.
Oh, and speaking of that's the fourth thing I was gonna say that I thought was bad about not bad, but like an issue with the movie. Why did Ash not tell? Why did Professor Oak never tell Ash
Oh
any of
yeah,
this?
that's right.
It's so awkward. He just like he wants to keep like it's secret. Why?
Yeah, yeah, that definitely doesn't make any sense. Like, and especially when you consider that they're already in the future, so telling Ash won't affect anything. Like, it's not like it's gonna affect the past in any way because that already happened. So there was no reason for Professor Oak to just keep it a secret.
Yeah,
So
it was just weird.
yeah,
I don't know,
and
man.
then I don't know. I'm trying to think. I guess the other good part is that Tracy had no speaking lines. Um,
Yeah, I like how we see Tracy. Same as the lines. We just see him in the background cleaning
yeah,
again.
yeah, and
I like how he's just Professor Oak's bitch. You just see him in the background cleaning
yeah,
at different
and I
parts.
appreciate that. And I guess if we can tie this back to the third movie, you know how Team Rocket was like, "Hey, maybe we'll get a bigger part in the next movie." And then in this movie, they definitely, I do think that they had a much bigger part this
Yeah,
time.
because first, they're tailing Ash like usual.
Hmm.
They do a distraction. They run into the guy. They team up with the guy.
Yeah.
But then when they kind of see that the guy is like, no, I'm gonna take over the world. I don't care about the Team Rocket organization at all or whatever,
Hmm.
and that he kind of captures Jesse or whatever. James and Meowth are trying to save her and stuff. Like, yeah, they
Yeah.
they
And
definitely
then
had a bit more to do than the
yeah.
third one for
And then
sure.
Jesse like directly tells them where to find Celebi. So that was another thing. So that was pretty cool
Yeah.
too. So they definitely played a bigger role. Um, I guess with that, I think we've covered everything. I mean, you can tell based off of our responses that we think that this movie is pretty good. Not as good as
Yeah,
the
like
third one.
there's still some kind of silly stuff, like we said,
Yeah.
like some unnecessary stuff. I think the biggest ones, honestly, the biggest like sets for me were why did Professor Oak not tell Ash,
Yes.
especially knowing that Ash is worried about this kid he made friends with. You think he would be happy to tell Ash? That way Ash knows, oh, Sam ended up okay. He ended up becoming Professor Oak. That's cool. Like
Hmm.
that's dumb that he wouldn't tell him. That's number one. And number two, I just thought it was kind of dumb how they used Celebi's power, where it's like, at least they should have had a reason for, why like the second half of the movie happens where it almost gets captured or whatever. If they should have just said it wasn't fully healed yet, or it can only use its power near the shrine or something. Those are like the two
Yeah.
things that bothered me the most, honestly. Besides that,
Yeah.
I feel like the rest of the movie was fine. It doesn't really it was consistent enough, and the story, like I said, was good enough. I enjoyed it enough, so.
Yeah, and I guess as we're wrapping up, I will, give a brief description of what we can look forward to next. I do feel like that at this point in the movies, we're going to notice them more focused on what I like, what they're known as the event legendaries, like the legendaries where, you need a specific event to get, or it's a timed event where you go to GameStop, get the little code on the card, then you get it. And I feel like we're gonna just start noticing that the movies are more geared more towards, I guess, promotions. I mean, I guess I'm not saying
Hmm.
yeah, I guess is promotion a
No,
good
yeah, you're right.
word?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
because like, the first three movies felt like they were actual like little adventures, basically.
yeah.
And even this one, even though I think Celebi was also technically kind of like an event
Yeah,
Pokemon,
yeah, it
because I think
was.
you
It
could only
was
get it like on a disc or something, right? It
Yeah,
was something weird like
and
that.
it was one of those that was only yeah, it was an event Pokemon for, for Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Well, no, I think Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think primarily Crystal. But it was only released in Japan. I think I could be wrong though. Don't quote me on that. But
Because
either
what I
way, it was an
remember,
event.
because what I
So,
remember is I thought you could get it on a disc, having to do with like Pokemon Coliseum or something.
no, I believe that's Jirachi.
Oh, is that Jirachi?
I think
No,
so.
because
No,
no, because that would be way too far, wouldn't
nope,
it?
nope.
Because I'm
Yep,
talking
you're right.
about
Yep, you're right.
Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah, Jirachi was a Pokemon Snap, but I digress. Either way,
Pokemon Snap.
yeah,
Pokemon, dude, Pokemon Snap came out like Jirachi's like from what generation? That
from
would just
Gen
light up.
3. Jirachi's from Gen 3, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap was barely coming out at that time.
Yeah, I think, or either before or after, but I know like one of the big promotions was that you could get like a free Jirachi from it.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me look this up.
Okay,
If you need
well,
to cut
as
this
as
out.
you're looking it up, I'll just keep talking. So the next movie, Pokemon movie number 5, Pokemon Heroes, is the next one that you can look forward to, and that's going to be focusing on Latios and Latias. And oh boy, I think this is the one that involves a bit of hentai
A bit of
category.
sexiness. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Pokemon Coliseum bonus was if you reserved a copy of Pokemon Coliseum,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave you Jirachi.
Oh,
Okay,
well, there we go. I was wrong. Well, look
so
up.
it wasn't Celebi, but they made it's. Oh, then wait, hold on. Japanese bonus disc. This disc connects to Celebi.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay. I'm reading now. The U.S. bonus disc had Pokemon Coliseum, and it had the movie Jirachi Wishmaker, as well as
Ah,
a downloadable Jirachi. All right.
okay.
Then the Japanese bonus disc contained a Celebi and previews of, and it says I had a bunch of previews of different games.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
Weird. See, so they're both tied to the same like disc, but just different
Yeah.
areas.
But,
Yeah, because I know for sure I knew the Celebi part. I didn't know about
hmm
the Jirachi part though. And I was gonna say, like Jirachi, there's no way it was on Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap's like way the hell in the past.
yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Anyway, look forward to Pokemon movie number 5, which should take place in January. So, with that, you know the drill. Follow Wannabe Reviewer. He's got some cool stuff lined up. I think he also still owes me like $20, so go to his videos and comment, pay Charific his money. And while you're doing that, make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe. And with that, we will see you in the next movie analysis. Bye.
Later.
Tell Wannabe to pay me my money.